I'm Nigel Barden, a food and drink journalist and broadcaster who likes to cook. I'm not in charge of a restaurant kitchen or run a gastropub, but I do discover dishes that are easy to prepare. And for me, it's all about the ingredients, as I love to champion artisan food and drink producers and tell their stories. So welcome to my Drivetime Dishes. Now we're talking carnivorous here, although there's going to be a veggie option at the end, I promise. But this is the type of thing that Fred Flintstone would have wowed, Wilma with. That's the Tomahawk Steak, as wielded, of course, by Jon Fell of the Rosehill Theatre in Whitehaven. That's a fair bit. You like a bit of theatre in your kitchens, and that's a very theatrical piece.
Absolutely, and these do appear. We do them from time to time, and we actually carve them at the table from a carving trolley, which is quite an old-fashioned thing to do, I think. But we, rather than carving it up in the kitchen, we do it at the table from a trolley. So there you go.
Yeah, I mean, and this is longissimus dorsi. That's the muscle there. It's got quite a lot of fat in it as well, which is perfect to base the leaner meat while it's cooking. Think gargantuan T-bone. It's about a kilo worth there. It's probably about 3 inches thick. So that's about 8-9 centimeters. But you serve that at a restaurant, but it's not just about carnivorous nights. You do a whole variety of stuff at the theatre.
We do, yeah. We do vegan nights, which we do it. It's a challenge for us because I love my meat, as you know, and so for me, it's out of my comfort zone. It's something that I'm really passionate about, and there's a lot of vegans out there,
and increasingly so. I mean, again, a lot of teenagers and young adults, absolutely vegetarian and veganism is massively on the upsurge.
Definitely. So yeah, we do the vegan night. We do lots of theme nights. We have a guest chefs in as well. We have Mr. Hardeep Singh Kohli.
Very funny.
Very, very funny
and
guy.
Good cook. Yeah.
And an excellent cook, and very passionate about his food. We've got Mr. Greg Emerson, who's been on MasterChef. Who's a good friend of mine anyway from way back, but he's going to come and we're going to do some guest nights with him as well. So yeah, it's all about the theatre. It's all theatre, all about the theatre.
Well, just as you show that off again, if you don't mind, and you can see why it is called a Tomahawk Steak. It's from Higher Hacknell Farm, which is in Burrington in Devon. Great Taste Award-winning meat. And it's set up in 1985 by Tim and Joe Budden. And this 350-acre organic farm. This has been aged for 28 days, dry hung. So it's not just stuck in a plastic bag. This has been hanging from a hook. And you can see this fabulous cut of meat. And they are brilliant farmers. It's a South Devon cow, but it comes from... certainly didn't die in vain. This is a glorious piece of meat, and it's from this very fine but food stories powered by Great Taste, because basically the Great Taste Awards, 12,500 entries this year, and some of the 1, 2 and 3 star winners recipes are in this book. Emma Schwartz has got together with James Golding. He's the chef director of the Pig Group, and they've got various hotels, but they're based in the New Forest. Angela Hartnett's also involved in the setup, and they put this rather fabulous book together. And on the front, we've got the coffee here. It's Coal Town Coffee Roasters. This is the #1 pit prop roast, and it's got its name because originally it was Coal Town because that's what it was, but they're trying to bring the gold dust back to that Ammanford near Carmarthen in South Wales, because the new black gold is coffee. And this is the espresso rub, which they're going to be I'm going to be putting onto this fabulous piece of meat, and along with that is some paprika, cumin, cinnamon and chili powder. So they're going to be going in there, and we're going to serve it up with some homemade chips as well. And it is just a fabulous piece. And of course, we've got some great British Farrington's rapeseed oil as well. Quite a simple dish. I would probably end up serving it up with a green salad. So it could be, depending on the time of year, but with great British watercress as well, with rocket and spinach. But really, it's all about the flavours. And this is a dish that you could make a day in advance as well. It's one of those where the flavours need to marinate together. How many have you got cooking with you in the kitchen, and how many will you serve in the theatre?
Yeah, there's 4 of us. There's myself, there's Richard. Although I'm classed as the head chef, we're all on the same level really. There's myself, there's Richard, there's Lola, who is just coming up to her end of her first year apprenticeship, And then we've taken Caitlin on, who's coming into her first year of apprenticeship. So it's a small team, but we work really, really well together. And it's a fantastic place, and you must come try it.
No, absolutely. Well, this is, of course, the mod father of the kitchen in Whitehaven, and it is theatre meets food, but that is very much what it is. And dishes like this are about the home cook. It's really rather, you don't need to be a chef. It's just all about great ingredients, but keep it simple, stupid. That's good for me, and that's what we're going to do with these, as you say, few ingredients. So let's find out, Jon, how the heck we're going to get all those flavours into this magnificent piece of meat. To make the Espresso-Rubbed Tomahawk Steak, you'll need a tablespoon of ground cumin, 2 tablespoons of freshly ground coffee. I use Cold Town Coffee Estate Espresso Blend, salt and black pepper, tablespoon of chili powder, 1/8 of a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, half a teaspoon of ground cinnamon, roughly a 1 kilogram tomahawk steak. Mine was from Higher Hacknell Farm. Some vegetable oil, half a kilo of potatoes, peeled and cut into chips. Tomahawk steak is very popular in America, where it's better known, but do ask your butcher to provide one for you. The key is just to make sure that it's nice and dry to start with. You can use some kitchen towel just to dab it dry, and then you rub in the oil. I've used rapeseed oil, rub it all over, make sure you massage the fat as well. And then over the top of that goes the coffee and spices mix. Beautiful seasoning, and you can do this a day in advance if you want, and leave it in the fridge overnight so the flavours melt together, and then work it nicely into all the meat, and make sure you include the fat as well. It smells gorgeous, the coffee and the chili powder and the cayenne pepper with the cinnamon in there. Preheat your griddle to high, and then grill the steak for about 5 minutes on each side to seal the meat. Finish the steak in the oven for about half an hour at 180 degrees C. While the steak is in the oven, you can fry the chips until they're nicely brown. Let the steak rest before serving with the freshly cooked chips. For all of the recipes in this series, just head to simplygoodfood.tv. So our tomahawk steak from Higher Hacknell Farm is nicely rested. Needs to be 10-15 minutes. Just cover it loosely in some foil, but again, so all the juices can run away from the bone, and it can just relax and keep it really moist. But that looks great. Smells great, Jon.
It smells fantastic.
And I'm going to get you, because I think the joy of this one is we can cut it off as one piece.
Sure.
And you can carve it, and off you go in certain caveman fashion as well.
Yep.
And it is a magnificent. So there's about beautiful. A kilogram's worth of meat there. An absolutely stunning piece of theatre, which I know suits you at Rose Hill.
Absolutely.
Theatre in Whitehaven, and lots of theatrics about that. And I also know that you're quite keen on the way that this is a good tip for at home, the way that we should be cutting our meat, particularly our steaks, when you get it at home.
Yeah, I think if again, it's just a chefy tip is to cut it against the grain, and you'll get a fantastic, and it'll eat beautifully as well if you do it.
Rather than with the grain, because otherwise it's all sinewy and sticks in your teeth. And, okay, well, so while you're cutting that up, and yes, I will be joining you. Thank you very much. Let me tell you a little bit about the drinks. And again, just to reiterate, it is from this great book, Food Stories Powered by Great Taste, from Emma Schwartz and Adam from the Exec Pig from the chef group. No, exec chef from the pig group in the New Forest. And now, Angry Wasps. I love cider. I love British cider. 6.5, so this is quite punchy. It's a Cambridge cider, and it's from Bassingbourn, just nearby. And it's really dry. It's bottle fermented, so it's got bits in it, but don't worry about that. That's what it should have. Just going to give you that, Jon.
Thank you very much.
There you go. And it's got champagne yeast that starts it off, so it's dry, but it's a combination of cooking and dessert apples, so it's got the sweet and sour element. Oh my goodness, that is grown up and lightly sparkling, but a really good punchy dry cider is Angry Wasp. I think we know where the names come from. And then the soft drink, at Colston Press, set up in 1986, originally by Simon Dunn, who sadly no longer with us, but I'm delighted that Stephen Unwin is. And this is it's a combination, because it's not just about apple juice. They're based in Kettering in Northamptonshire, and this has got sparkling water in it as well, of course, some press, but it also has got rhubarb, and that's blended with, as I say, a little bit of sparkling water with some grape juice in there as well, and it's a nice non-alcoholic combination as well. Good. And a good juxtaposition against the Angry Wasp. It really does.
Yeah,
it's lovely and fragrant.
Fantastic, absolutely.
Perfect. Now, it's cooked to perfection.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. It's lovely. Here, you have that one.
Thank you very much.
Lovely. If you don't want it as rare as this, and this is cooked for about half an hour, just give it a bit more. If you haven't got a meat thermometer, but I do suggest you get one. It's a really good one. It's great for your turkey, for instance. We use the same thermometer. Is that if you put a sharp knife or a skewer into the meat, and if the juices run clear, you know that it's cooked. If it's slightly bloody, you know it's going to be quite rare, which is maybe how you want it. The key is to rest it, as we say. I mean, that is a magnificent piece of meat. A good veggie version of this, because this rub will work on lots of different meats as well. It's great with lamb as well and pork, but it also sweet potatoes. If you did big chunky sweet potatoes, we've done here, these are a good East Anglian potatoes that we've used from the Fenlands. Those are chunky chips, but also if you want to do use that marinade, but put it onto big thick slices of sweet potato, that would be great. You could, absolutely, if you want, just blanch them initially, but then I'd finish them off, put them in the oven for about half an hour. Just keep going back, baste them every now, because we've got quite a few juices, and put some rapeseed oil or olive oil on, but rapeseed oil is my favourite, and that would work really well. It's a pretty good combination. Oh, and you can taste the coffee coming through and the chilli, but the meat is the winner.
Beautiful.
Yep. Hi Hacknell Farm, thank you. It's a great piece of meat. And thank you, as ever, to the mod father of the kitchen. Really appreciate that, John. And we'll check you out, the Rosehill Theatre in Whitehaven. It's a great place to go, and there's a lot of theatre in and out of the kitchen as well. But do come back to us as well, because we've got some great recipes from great chefs, some great books, great ingredients, and also alcoholic and non-alcoholic drinks to go and pair with them. So we look forward to catching up with you next time. Thanks.